Alright guys, so in this video I wanted to take a quick look at our Rewired record starting point because there's a couple of people been asking questions about it, so I'm going to show you exactly what's in it and what it does. So the starting point pack is full of MIDI files. It's just melodies and chord progressions, and each of these melody numbers here corresponds with the matching chord progression. So for example, basic melody 25 here, if we drop that on, that's going to match up with chords 25. So I'll drop that onto my chords, and I'm just using basic Nexus sounds for this at the moment, but you can use whatever you want. So we'll try a different one. I'm just going to mute these chords for now. So I need to be in melodies. I'll try melody 29. And then if I go down and get chords 29, that should match with this. Right, so I'm going to pick one more that I like. Basic melodies. What I'm going to do actually, these ones, if you see they've got an extra number at the end, what that means is both of these will match up with chords 10, so you get two different melodies. So we'll try this one. So that's a really basic melody, and then this next one's got a bit more, it's a bit more technical. So I'll go down and get chords 10. And then the next step is to get the bass, because if you've noticed, none of these come with bass midis, so that's really easy to get. If we just go onto the chords MIDI, we want to look down for the bottom notes, which are down here, and we just select these with the select tool, Control C to copy, and then we'll go into the bass piano roll, Control V to paste. I'm going to turn these chords off for now so we can hear what we're doing. And then I'm just going to go tools and chop, and then that's going to give me these separate bass notes, and then I can select them all either with the select box or Control and A on the keyboard, and then I'm going to drag these in just less than half. And to disable the snap, so it's not only doing it in your whatever your snap settings are, so mine's currently on a quarter of a beat, I want to fine tune it a bit more, so I'm going to hold Alt on the keyboard, and then that disables the snap temporarily. So I'll do it about 1.5 squares, and then I'm going to move these over to the offbeat, which is right in between where the kicks would be. So the kicks would be there, and then the bass sits right in between them. And then I'm going to turn this into a roll bass, which is the bass that goes up and down. You usually hear it on breakdowns on the classic Makina anyway. And then Control A to select all, and then Control C, Control V, copy and paste. And then I've just moved them over to the left, and I'm going to drop them down an octave, Control and down. And if I'm thinking that's sounding a bit low pitched, I can use Control and up to move the whole thing up. And now that I've got these three parts, that's my melody, my pads, just change that to pads, and my bass line. So now I can go up to the top where it says pattern, and I can go split by channel. And what this is going to do is separate each of these sounds onto a different pattern. So now I can start laying these down. So I might start with the pads on their own, and then I might bring in the melody and the bass here. then the build-up would come here, so we'll just pretend that I've made the build-up, and then we'll just move on to the kick-off. So I'm going to get this bass. Actually, I'm going to rename this one roll bass, and then on this one that I've pasted down here, I'm going to click make unique, and then I can rename this main bass. So in this one, I'm going to go and get rid of all these bottom notes, so we've just got the high notes. And then I'm going to go to our free Makina starter pack, and I'm going to go into the stabs. I'm going to find a stab that I like. So that'll do, nice classic Spanishy one. And then into the instrument properties, I always turn the attack and release down. And the reason for that is if you don't do that and then you put notes down, no matter how long the notes are that you put down, it will still play the full sample. So if the sample's like 2 seconds long, each of these notes is going to play for 2 seconds and they'll all be overlapping. So to stop that, you just turn the attack and release down, and then it means the sound will start and stop exactly where the piano roll notes start and stop. So that's going to sound like this. I'm just going to go on Nexus and turn this reverb off, so I don't want that on my bass. So I'll just get rid of that bit of pad and roll bass there, just so there's a little gap before it kicks in, and we're just going to have to pretend that there's been a build up there. And then I'm going to go in and get my kick drum. That'll do for now. I like to send these kicks to the piano roll, drag them out so they're exactly half a beat, and then this gap is where the bass and stab are going to be. And then just like I did with the stab, I turn the attack and release down, because then that means the kick is not going to tail over here, it's going to cut off exactly where the bass and stab start. And then I can rename this kick. I'll paint this down over here, and then we'll just go in and get a crash cymbal. That'll do for now, and then I'll just turn it down a bit. In fact, while we're on, I'm going to go in loops, get a snare loop. That'll go nicely there. Hi-hat loop. And then I'm just going to set the time there to 2 bars so it fits on exactly. I'll turn that down a bit too. So I'm going to try that bass an octave below, see what that's like. Yeah, I think that's sounding a lot better. So then you would just go through and add your different loops or your different patterns that you've made, maybe claps and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's the basic setup of that there, and it's only took a couple of minutes to do that really. If I go into options, project info, so I did set this up a bit before I started the tutorial, but altogether with all the setup as well, it's only taken 36 minutes, and I'm sure you would do it a lot faster if you weren't making a tutorial. So yeah, it doesn't take long at all once you've got the midis there. And you don't just have to use the midis and keep them as they are. once you've dropped them in, you can always tweak them around. So for example, with this melody, I could maybe put this up here. So that melody might not be great, but obviously if I was really doing this as a proper track, I'd spend a bit more time moving my notes around and coming up with something nice and catchy that flows well. But there you go, it doesn't take long. Drop in the midis, move them around, come up with something fresh, and it saves you a lot of time of trying to work out some chords and work out a bass line and a melody that all go together. All of these in the pack slot together really nicely, like really nice and harmonic. All the pads sound nice and euphoric. Yeah, I'm just going to show you a couple more of these pads because there's some really, really nice ones in here. So I'll just pick a few at random. So some really nice ones. They're all quite emotional sounding really. There's some happier ones, but a lot of them are quite deep and trancey. And of course you can go and pick different pad sounds. So if I maybe go into the epic pads and see if they're as epic as they suggest. Yeah, they're quite nice. Should we try this Afterglow? So that's chords 13. I'm going to go and get melody 13 to see what's going on. And as well as melodies, you could always have a piano or something for this. So I'll just test that out. I'm going to drop that down an octave. See what that's like. Another little trick as well, if you look at the top left, we can see that this is an A major. If you look up here, A major. So what I can do, I'll just go on to a different pattern for now while I drag this on. So I'm going to go looking through. So that one's a B minor. I'm just going to go look through and find anything that's a major. So that's a C major, for example. And we wanted an A major. So all I need to do is hold shift and move this down until we get to an A major. And then I'm going to take this MIDI and I'm going to go drop it on here. So we can see that that works. I'm just going to go back on that pattern again. I'll see if I can find another one. So we're looking for A major, aren't we? So I'll just drop this on here. So this is a D major, so I'll just drop this down until we get to the A major there. And we'll try this one. So we could try this as the melody as well. Yeah, so there you go. You don't even need to use the actual corresponding MIDIs. You could just go through and find another one that's in the same key. I think what I might actually do to make this easier is go through them all and key label them, so you can see if they're a major or a minor, and then you can do that trick really easily. But for now, there you go, just have a quick look through, and the possibilities are endless. You can totally swap around these notes and come up with something totally different. So there you go. I use that pack quite a lot when I'm starting off because, to be honest, I just can't be bothered trying to work out chords from scratch and write melodies from scratch all the time. So usually I'll drop in one of these, I'll drop in the chords, or I'll drop in a melody and get the bass and stuff from it, and then I'll just tweak and move things around until it turns into something completely new. Usually when I do write my original melodies, I always write from the chords, so instead of just trying to write a melody over a bass or something, I'll pick one of these chord progressions and then I'll write my melody while I'm listening to this, you know, so I'll just play the chords on a loop. And then I'll find notes that I like. And this is exactly how I write these MIDIs in the pack, by the way. I made the pads first, and then I just write some notes here.